Good afternoon, this is Roger Gilbert and I'm representing International Aquafeed magazine. I'm here in Alexandria, Egypt, attending the WAS, World Aquaculture Society's meeting. I have the pleasure of being in the company of Professor or Dr. Abdel El Sayed, and he's from the Alexandria University, locally here. And Dr. El Sayed made an opening presentation at the conference this week, and I want to ask him a few questions about that. Dr. El Sayed, welcome.
Thank you very much, and welcome here in Alexandria.
Yeah.
And I hope you enjoy your stay, and I wish you a pleasant stay and a safe back home trip.
Yeah, well, we travel back shortly, but right now, can we talk a little bit about Egypt and the chapter for WAS? Egypt is hosting this show for this event for the first time.
True, yeah. And I think it has been a very good choice, and you may know that Egypt is number one in Africa in terms of aquaculture production, aquafeed production. So it's influencing the whole region dramatically. So I think it will be like a motivation for next events in the continent. So yeah. I think it's a good choice.
And we heard from your presentation that you made at the the opening ceremony, that Egypt is producing something like 1.4 million tons of compound feed for aquaculture. And it's also producing, has 100 feed mills, which is quite impressive. Do you see Egypt having an influence on the development of aquaculture in the rest of Africa?
Yeah, certainly, and definitely Egypt will have a huge influence because most of African countries look at Egypt as the driving force, if you will, of this sector. Due to the cumulative experience of Egyptian aquaculture and the long history. Yeah. So also because, like I said in my presentation, we have like 6 colleges of fisheries in Egypt. We have several departments of animal and fish production. Colleges of veterinary medicine also have departments of fish health management. So we have all the capabilities of influencing the rest of Africa.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. We have an influence on the continent, and we believe that in the near future this influence will be much more fruitful.
Yeah. And just talking about production, talking about universities and students, etc. I hear that there's something like over 600 students in aquaculture learning courses in Egypt at the moment.
Well, I don't know exactly how many of them, but like I said, we have 6 colleges in many departments. But there is a huge number of students, not only, by the way, Egyptians. Yeah. Also Africans and other nationalities, and you may have seen the photo of the lady I showed yesterday.
Yes.
She's from Guinea, Conakry.
Okay.
She's studying her master with me.
Yeah.
So there are many students from Africa. Even if I remember that in Chad, there's a branch of Alexandria University focusing mainly on animal and fish production.
Yeah.
And our colleague Dr. What's his name? Dr. Muhammad Abdullah Zaki is now the chairperson of that branch.
Yeah.
So yes, many students, many researchers, which means that you asked about the future, which means that the future will be bright. Yeah. I'm sure.
Yes. And could you just put a few figures around Egypt's production of aquaculture, just so we have a broader understanding?
True. Well, we have in aquaculture, as you may know that, we have fisheries and aquaculture as 2 pillars of the production. Aquaculture represents about 81%. Totally about if I remember, 1.8 million tons, just aquaculture. and then the fisheries between 300 to 400,000 tons, which is about 19% of the production, which is altogether about 2.3 million tons. And then we also import about 20% of our needs, which means that aquaculture should be developed much further, and also fisheries, just in order to meet to be self-sufficient in fish production.
Because there's 105 million people in Egypt, and I think, is there still room to develop aquaculture? And if so, what sort of development would that be?
Well, room is always there and available, but how to occupy it, how to use it. Like I said in my presentation yesterday, all lands available for aquaculture have been occupied, or most of them. So we don't have enough horizontal expansion. So the development should be mostly vertical through increasing the production per unit volume or per unit area, increasing the production per meter or per hectare, okay, through developing technologies in production systems and genetic developments in feed production, feed technology, and many things can help in increasing the production, which we call, like I said, vertical improvement or vertical increase in the production. Also extension services to farmers, how to manage their farms, how to handle their fish, how to store their feed. All these factors can affect the production. So it's the production itself, and then the management of the production, and education, like I said, and research and training, etc., etc. All this, I believe, can help increase the production to the limit which are dreaming to have.
And finally, one point I've overlooked is what are the principal species that Egyptian farmers are producing?
Again, like I've shown in my presentation, there is about 16 species grown in Egypt, but at different levels. The masterpiece of this species is tilapia, Nile tilapia, which they call me Mr. Tilapia actually. And tilapia represents, if I remember, about 65%. So it's 1.1 million tons a year. That was in 2019. And then we have mullets and carps. The three groups represent about 94%.
Okay.
And then the 6% divided among catfish, sea bream and sea bass, some shrimps, meager, and some other species. And by the way, Egypt is number 3 in terms of sea bream and sea bass production in the region.
Right.
So this is the structure of the species grown in the country.
Well, that's a lot of good quality information there, and it's a real pleasure having attended this event. And I wish you all the best for the future, and Egypt as well, and bridging that 20% that's imported, and also entering more of the export market. But thank you very much, Dr. Sayed.
It's a pleasure, sir, and we are glad that you could make it, and I hope that you enjoyed your stay, and please come back.
We will. Thank you very much.